Serena tries to look scary when she catches people in her territory, but the whole act falls apart when she smacks her shin on a crown and starts hopping around. On the other side of the mountain, Lauren is grumbling about climbing rocks, while Ellison tells her they're close to the dwarf village, which he needs for proper construction work. When they finally reach the place, it looks abandoned, cracked gates, moss, and skeletons everywhere. That's when a red dragon shows up, full of attitude, mocking them for being weak. It fires off its big scarlet dragon's roar, but Ellison just cancels it out with lightning and even injures the dragon, leaving it stunned. Serena panics, swearing she didn't cause the mess, and points out a giant sealed door underground that even she couldn't open. Then she tries to switch tactics, throwing herself at Ellison all flirty, which makes Lauren furious. Lauren kicks her and Serena ends up whining in pain again. Ellison and Lauren head to the mysterious door, which has carvings and glowing energy. The door itself warns them to leave, claiming dragons are the ones who ruined the cave. Lauren gets all fired up about busting open the door, but Ellison tells her to chill as dragon magic is carved into it. So it's not that simple. Instead of fighting, he plays it smart. He starts cooking sausages right outside the door, and the smell drives the starving dwarves inside crazy after being stuck for a year. Eventually, they can't resist, and the chief opens the door. The poor guys are skin and bones, but they dive into the food like it's the best thing they've ever tasted. Ellison then asks about Geltzar, and the dwarves take him to meet their elder in an underground village. Geltzar instantly recognizes Ellison as an old friend and even calls Lauren a mighty one, which totally boosts her ego. When asked what happened, Geltzar admits the truth. Their home was destroyed by a group of red dragons. That piece shocks Ellison since it means the dragons are working together. To explain further, Geltzar shows them a secret chamber. Inside lies the skeleton of Cooler, a golden dragon who once protected the dwarves for centuries out of sheer kindness. But the real shocker, the red dragons are after a legendary gem, the Mabel, a magical essence strong enough to create a dragon king. Geltzar lays it all out. If a dragon lord ever rises, dragons could march like an unstoppable army and wipe out the world. That's why Cooler, the golden guardian, once protected the ancient Mars. Lauren, lost in her childhood memories, breaks down crying and admits it takes 3 essences to make a dragon lord. Geltzar feels guilty, saying he once tried to destroy the essence with Cooler, but failed. Ellison then throws in a bold idea: move the dwarves to the Greek city and start fresh by helping him and Lauren build a lair. At first, Geltzar hesitates, but seeing his people finally eating and smiling again, he remembers Cooler's advice not to let the dead's will chain the living. That's when he agrees to leave the ruins behind. Before they go, Geltzar hands Ellison the essence, shocking him. Lauren cheekily says he should absorb it, but Ellison refuses, saying he'll never let a dragon lord be born. He promises he has a plan to keep it safe. Then the story jumps back to Serena, the red dragon still sulking from her earlier defeat. Ellison teases her about having treasure without taking tribute, then flashes the essence at her. She panics instantly, swearing she's already told him everything. There is some confusion about a dragon named Garda. Turns out the dragoness once dated someone she thought was him but wasn't. She explains she's only lived there half a year, never saw any gangs, and that whole treasure thing just an illusion. She even cries, and Ellison realizes she was accused unfairly. Then we hop over to Ellison's restaurant. Elena and Mentz show up, Mentz on crutches, but improving thanks to Elena's support, though she says it was his willpower. Ellison praises her, which makes her sulky. A dwarf pops in asking for stew leftovers, shocking Elena, then Creston barges in too. With everyone bickering, Ellison decides that it's a restaurant, so let's eat, and serves up pizza. Ment's super happy to taste it again. Just then, Deanne asks Ellison to make a dessert to cheer his mom. Next morning, Ellison is in the Lord's fancy kitchen, cooking with rare spices. Sadly, Lady Berna doesn't touch the dessert. That's when Deanne explains his mom used to love sweets, but changed after moving to the Greek city. A flashback shows his dad trying hard to keep her smiling by always getting her dessert, even during sugar shortages, something that eventually worked and brought her joy again. Young Dean once overheard someone yelling at his mom for not giving the family an heir even after 5 years. His mom told him not to worry, but after that she softened a lot, smiled more, and tried to be gentler with him. They even had sweet moments, like baking together, though she totally failed at bread making while he nailed it. Sadly, that day got ruined when servants rushed in saying his dad had collapsed. The illness was so strange, no one could figure it out. What crushed Dion most was seeing his mom's face full of disappointment instead of concern. After that, she she stopped eating desserts and basically shut him out, only sending him messages through servants. That's why Dion ends up clinging to Ellison's restaurant, craving the warmth of family again. Ellison leaves the house deep in thought. He can't figure out Lady Berna that why treat Dion kindly at first, then ice him out later. He guesses it might be guilt driving her actions. When he mentions it to Lauren, she thinks he's drunk. Back at the Count's place, Lady Berna cares for her husband, but hurries off when Count Dedran arrives. Ellison and Lauren sneak in, spot the Count signaling toward a piano, and find secret documents hidden inside. Turns out Lady Berna's been embezzling city taxes and resources. Ellison sends Lauren to the capital, while Lady Berna faces her creepy, smiling father, Count Dedran. Dion's chilling in his room when Ellison shows up joking about hamburgers, but then drops some heavy news. Greek city's taxes are secretly going to Lord Dedran. Even worse, the confession proving it all came from Dean's own mother. While Dean's still reeling, Ellison warns him to stay quiet because Dedran is right there in the cab. Meanwhile, Lady Berna has her own heated clash with her father. He pretends he's there out of love, but she calls out the lie. Then he casually admits he poisoned her husband. Before she can react, his men move to snatch her, all while Dion and Ellison secretly listen. Ellison stops Dion from rushing in, pointing out that many soldiers are already loyal to Dedran, the same ones behind his father's death. Instead, they need undeniable proof. Just then, Lauren pops out of a portal with a captured big shot who could give them the evidence they need. The next morning, Dedran tries to break Berna by claiming he poisoned Deanne's breakfast too. She's devastated. But Ellison is disguised as a soldier and reveals that it's all part of their plan. Chief Magician Madrin steps in, accusing Dedran of attempted murder. Finally, Deanne drops the act, tells his grandfather it's over, and his mother cries in relief knowing her son is safe. Lady Berna is beyond relieved that Deanne's safe, but Dedran is fuming. Madrin orders him to obey, but he plays innocent, saying the dagger was just for protection. She's not buying it. She whips out the poisoned breakfast meant for Diane and dares him to eat it. He panics, proving his guilt. Backed into a corner, Dedran tries to throw his own daughter under the bus, accusing her of stealing tax, but Dion pulls out the ashes of the burned documents, leaving him with zero evidence. When Dedran's soldiers refuse to act, Madrin kills one on the spot and reminds them that no one, not even a count, is above imperial law. Soon, all of Dedran's allies are arrested. Ellison frees Lady Berna, who breaks down with guilt, saying she doesn't deserve forgiveness. Diane comforts her, blaming Dedran and insisting she should have trusted them. She promises to do better and hugs her son tightly. Dedran, however, won't shut up. He threatens everyone, bragging about who he is. That's when Ellison steps in. He calls Dedran greedy and then with a single move blows up his castle, forcing him to watch it collapse. Later, Dion hosts a sweet-filled banquet, amazing everyone with the dessert bouquet. But Madrin points out the sky. Dedran's castle is floating, only to crumble moments later. Ellison shrugs it off as fireworks, while Lady Berna, tasting the sweets with tears of joy, says it's the best banquet ever. After the banquet, Lady Berna feels lighter than ever. She admits she once saw the castle as a prison, but now feels free. She cares for her husband, finally confesses her love, and Deanne secretly overhears with a smile. Meanwhile, Dedran, disgraced and hated, is pelted by his people and left miserable. On the other side, Darian tells Ellison they've rounded up spies, but warns him to stay cautious. He also reveals that Temurin knows Ellison's plan, but is quietly watching. Darian can't help but admire how much stronger Ellison has become, while Ellison just hopes the city can finally enjoy peace. Rain falls the next day, ruining chores for Lauren and Miltine. Ellison scolds them for working outside, dries Lauren off, and shifts everyone to restaurant duty. Benen then drops by, craving something warm, so Ellison whips up chicken noodle soup. They laugh over orchards and prices before Benen suddenly opens up about his past love, Meal, a woman he adored for 30 years but never confessed to. He lost his chance during a dragon attack and still carries regret, avoiding her even now though she's in the city. Before leaving, he tells Ellison to cherish his wife, though Ellison corrects him about Lauren. Later, Ellison learns from Rain that Miel feels the same regret as Benin, which leaves him shocked and thoughtful. Rain tells Ellison that Miel once admitted she ran away from the man she loved 15 years ago, even though he showed up with flowers. Ellison then drops the truth that Miel's love was Benen. Both had actually gone to meet, but when the dragon attack happened, they fled, each thinking the other abandoned them. For 15 years, they've lived with that regret. Ellison decides to fix things. He gets Rain to pass a message to Miel, then goes to Benin with a magnifying glass for her poor eyesight. He urges him to meet Miel at the old spot outside the city. Nervous but hopeful, grateful, Benin goes and there she is. They both confess they ran away that day, then burst into laughter at the ridiculous misunderstanding. Watching from a hill, Ellison and Rain are happy for them, though saddened they wasted so many years. Soon after, Benin sells his orchards to Ellison, buys a house in Greek City, and marries Meal so they'll never live with regret again. Meanwhile, Ellison secures land for the dwarves. Lurin beams when he promises to live in her lair once it's ready, even teasing about a passage to the restaurant. The dwarves push ahead with construction, grateful for the land, while Ellison keeps them well fed. As the restaurant fills with laughter and chatter, two scruffy brothers, Lint and Lint, wander in, lured by the delicious smell of food. Two brothers show up at Ellison's restaurant looking for work, only to find the flyer had already been tossed. They panic, but Ellison calms them down, gives them stew, and lets them talk. The pork stew is so good they can hardly believe it, and they thank him like it's the best meal of their lives. When asked why they want the job, Lint says they love animals but don't know much. Ellison presses harder and makes them show their wrists, revealing prison shackle marks. Lint admits they were jailed and he did it for his brother, but insists crime is still crime and refuses to make excuses. Embarrassed, he tries to leave, even as his brother begs to stay. Ellison later tells Lurin the brothers aren't bad, but clearly hiding something they aren't ready to share. While preparing spices, he overuses magic, collapses, and scares everyone. Lurin cries over him, but he reassures her it's just mana exhaustion. When she asks what she can do, he cheekily tells her to cook, making her explode since she can't cook at all. Meanwhile, the brothers wander the freezing night, starving and rejected everywhere. They even say prison was better since it was warm. While scavenging food, they're confronted by a shady man and his thug. To their horror, it's none other than Supervisor Ratanda still hunting them. Ratanda just won't let the brothers go, which really ticks Lint off. He remembers 2 years back when Ratanda, working as a site supervisor, tried harassing a worker's wife. The brothers ruined his plans by warning about a section collapse. They even accused him of faulty materials, which made him furious. He beat them up, fired them, and trapped them in debt. Things got worse when he mocked Lint, who finally snapped and fought back. Now in the present, Lint tells his brother not to pick fights, but Ratanda is already out for revenge. Ignoring warnings, he slaps one of his men and sets his eyes on Elena, planning to use her. Meanwhile, Ellison is worn out from absorbing ancient marble, while poor Lurin keeps failing at cooking. She cries, realizing how helpless she feels, wishing she could help him without depending on others. Outside, Elena gets cornered by one of Ratanda's thugs, who demands to know where the brothers are. She blasts him with magic and tries to escape, but before things get worse, Lint jumps in with a punch. His brother joins him, and the two decide that if nothing else, fighting Ratanda's men will keep them warm this winter. Elena asks why the brothers are there, but Lint tells her to leave since Ratanda's men only want him. He's furious she got dragged into this. Ratanda, calm as ever, reveals he's brought backup. Roman, a tough gang leader with years of battle experience. While Rain deals with Lurin at the door, the brothers face Roman, but he completely overpowers them. Lint's brother is grabbed, and Lint has no choice but to beg for mercy. Ratanda gloats, but Lint feels crushed, thinking about how powerless he is. Just then, Lurin shows up, following Elena's scent, and asks for her help. Elena is drained and says she can't. Roman notices Lurin's aura and wisely backs off, letting Elena heal the brothers. Ratanda tries to grab Lurin, but she vanishes and reappears, tearing off his arm. Everyone is shocked. She then begs Elena to help Ellison, who's seriously ill. Elena heals Ellison, though it drains her mana. He thanks both her and Lurin. Lurin, jealous at first, softens and awkwardly thanks Elena, surprising everyone. Later, Ellison invites the brothers inside. They admit Elena was caught because of them, but he comforts them, saying it wasn't their fault. He gives them money for lodging and offers work at his ranch. Though hesitant since they're ex-criminals, he reassures them they've repented. Moved, the brothers accept, calling him their elder brother, but Ellison jokes that he'd rather be their manager. The next morning, the Vagrant brothers start their ranch jobs, calling Miltiane Sr., which boosts her mood. Ment, though, isn't convinced and points out the scars from their shackles, saying she still doesn't trust them. But when she mentions Ratanda will be defeated, Lint can't help but smile. Ellison, meanwhile, is recharging his mana with the ancient marble, watching his restaurant grow busier. Lurin acts oddly, staring at women's jewelry. She asks why they wear it, and Ellison explains it's just to look pretty, like treasure in dragon lairs. She sadly remembers her mother's lair being empty. When he asks if she likes jewelry, she doesn't know how to answer, especially after seeing Benin gift Miel a necklace. Deanne shows up with great news. Ratanda's been arrested after his own men ratted him out, and only Dedrin had been backing him. While enjoying Ellison's food, Deanne invites him to an event in 3 days. Later, Ellison meets with dwarves, inspects an item, and trades them sausages and beer. They decline the event, being busy with construction. Finally, the restaurant event kicks off. Ellison reveals a fun blindfolded quiz called "What Did You Put in My Mouth?" Contestants eat mystery foods and guess. Milton Dean struggles with marshmallows, Creston fails with chilies, but Lauren nails it by guessing cake. Everyone cheers, and Ellison sweetly tells her it's her birthday, wishing her in front of the crowd. At her surprise birthday party, Lauren is stunned to see everyone cheering. Ellison teases her for not figuring it out, then gives her a special gift, dwarven earrings. She acts cool at first, but ends up grinning, realizing how nice it feels to be given something. After a few more quiz rounds and cake, she admits it's the first birthday she's ever had with so many people. Ellison notes it's also her last before coming of age. Later, they sip coffee on the snowy terrace, reflecting on how a year has flown by. Ellison mentions time feels different for humans, and she brings up him absorbing Lord Hart. He downplays it, unsure if it helped. When a shooting star appears, she secretly wishes to stay by his side longer, but keeps it to herself. Elsewhere in the Black Dragon Shrine, Nis complains to his uncle Dehigma about sparing a human. Dehigma scolds him for arrogance, stressing the importance of keeping promises. Nis pretends to agree, but leaves scheming. Up in the Arctic, Ellison drags Lauren on a mushroom hunt, telling her these rare underground fungi are worth a fortune. He even jokes about pigs being used to find them. Lauren sighs, feeling used for her dragon senses, but goes along. Their search is cut short when goblins suddenly attack a giant cat near a cliff. By a cliff, goblins gang up on a giant cat, but Ellison blocks their attack with magic. Lauren's fierce glare alone makes the goblins scatter. The cat, instead of attacking, flops down playfully. Lauren translates its thanks, and later it brings them a pile of rare truffles. Lauren hates the smell, but Ellison is thrilled. These mushrooms are worth a fortune. He thanks the cat and suggests it guard the dragon lair. Lauren protests, but the cat happily accepts. Far away, Nis meets 3 black dragons, Daba, Negu, and Hoven. He insists on bringing Lauren back, even mentioning Elder Metadonna's approval. But Daba warns the treaty forbids harming humans like Ellison. Frustrated, Nis listens as Gjard, a caged red dragon, offers inside info about another red dragon near Greek City. Meanwhile, Serena sits in her ruined village, stewing over her past with Ellison and Lauren. Suddenly, Gjarda shows up, nervously confessing he wants to be her partner. Serena explodes, shifts into dragon form, and rages at him for abandoning her and joining Ray's. Gjarda smirks, and before she can react, the ceiling bursts open as 3 dragon heads crash through and ambush begins. Serena gets ambushed big time by Yardi and his crew. They blast her with purple energy, slap a magic collar on her, but she smashes it to pieces. Just when she's about to strike back, Nace sneaks in and wrecks her. Badly hurt, she teleports out at the last second, leaving the attackers fuming. Neymar tracks her trail to Grey City, and Nace plans to pin her death on Ellison. Back at the village, Ellison shows off a giant cold-loving creature and serves food made with rare truffle mushrooms. The flavors split the crowd, some love it, some hate it, so he's not sure if it's a win. Then, out of nowhere, Serena shows up at his restaurant. She eats calmly, talks about love and loneliness, then collapses from her wounds. Lauren grimly says she won't survive. Right then, a portal opens and dragons storm in, accusing Ellison of murdering her. One Baint attacks right away. Lauren teleports Serena off for help, while Ellison faces the attackers head on. He tries to talk, but they're not listening. Spells start flying. With his cloak whipping dramatically, Ellison stands ready, confident this fight is his to win. Nis and his gang are hanging back, laughing like villains while their plan plays out. He basically brags that Baint, captain of the hot-headed young red dragons, was the perfect pawn, easy to provoke, and now charging headfirst into battle. Inside, Baint accuses Ellison of hurting Serena and blasts fire, but Ellison just shrugs it off with a shield and warps them all to a safer field. Meanwhile, Serena is barely clinging to life at Elena's clinic. Elena is terrified but tries to heal her, and when she's about to collapse, Lauren jumps in and shares her mana so she can keep going. Out in the field, Baint roars that Ellison will die there. Ellison is piecing things together, realizing the whole mess is a setup to frame him. He tries to reason, saying Serena was already wounded, but the dragons just don't care. Giardi stirs the pot even more with lies, and soon Bond transforms into full dragon mode. The battle gets explosive, magic, fire, and chaos everywhere. Ellison's patience finally snaps, and his power bursts out so strong it drops Giardi to his knee. That's when Nis strolls in, acting smug and pretending he's helping, but Ellison sees right through it. Things get worse when black dragons pile in, hammering Ellison nonstop. Just when it looks like it's about to get out of control, a booming voice cuts through everything. 4 teleportation gates open, and the elders step out. The atmosphere shifts instantly. They demand answers. Metadana eyes Ellison and remarks how he's always in the middle of trouble. Ellison, half relieved and half sarcastic, finally pulls down his hood, revealing his face to everyone. The elders show up and Nis is grinning inside, thinking he's about to nail Ellison with a murder charge. He figures if he convinces them that Ellison killed Serena, boom, public execution. Plus, the idea of Lauren siding with a human just fuels his fire. What Nis doesn't realize is that Ellison is already 3 steps ahead, banking on Lauren and Elena to pull off a miracle. Cut to the clinic, Serena's bleeding finally stops, but she's still on the edge. Lauren tells Elena there's only one shot left, a full magic sync. Basically, Elena becomes the channel for dragon power, which could literally break her body. Terrified but determined, she agrees. The energy nearly crushes her, but Lauren pushes her forward, reminding her what's at stake. Elena digs deep and the whole room lights up as she pours everything into saving Serena. Back at the battlefield, Nis is telling tall tales with Bent and Gyarda backing him up. They claim Ellison killed Serena, but Ellison stays cool. He points out the treaty, says killing her makes no sense, and even calls out how suspiciously fast the Black Dragon showed up. D-Dank asks for proof, and Ellison just casually opens a portal, outwalks Serena alive. Boom, everyone freezes. Serena calls out Nis and his crew as her real attackers. Bant's face drops and he apologizes right away. Ellison forgives him, but the Black Dragons are still in hot water. The elders are stunned by Elena's healing magic, though she's too wiped to care. Medidana then lays into Nis for breaking the treaty. Furious and humiliated, Nis snaps, shifts into his dragon form, and lunges at Ellison. Nis tries a cheap shot on Ellison from behind, but Ellison shoves Lurin out of the way and takes the full hit himself. He drops bleeding out and Lurin just breaks down, begging him not to die. Elena rushes in to heal him, but nothing works. Nis laughs, saying Ellison's finished. That's when Serena snaps at Lurin to stop crying and actually look. Sure enough, Ellison's wounds are closing on their own. He gets up, wipes Lurin's tears, and suddenly bursts with blue light. An ancient gem glows over him, wings flare out, and he explains the gem soaked up Nis's attack. Nis loses it, goes full dragon mode, and blasts everything he has, but Ellison barely flinches. He blocks it with one hand, then calls down a rain of flaming meteors. The battlefield turns into fire and rubble, and Nis is wiped out, leaving only ashes. His followers just stand there in regret. The elders step in to finish things, sentencing Negu and the rest of the traitors to 3,000 years in the Forbidden Grounds. Serena's lair gets rebuilt, and she plays coy when Ellison apologizes for missing treasures, though she's clearly happy. Garrity, however, is still on the run, and Serena vows she wants him punished. Later, when the dust settles, Lurin scolds Ellison for being reckless, crying as she admits how scared she was. He hugs her, promises to be more careful, and they share a quiet moment until Elder Medidana suddenly shows up, making them both jump. Medidana shows up out of nowhere, and Lurin totally panics. She punches him right in the face. He's shocked, Ellison's awkward, and things calm down. Over whiskey, they chat, and Medidana quickly realizes Ellison's crazy new powers are tied to the ancient Mabel. The talk gets heavy, and Medidana explains how the gems work. 1 controls dragons, 2 handle purebloods, and 3 could let someone rule all dragonkind. Since Ellison has 3, Medidana basically says if you were a dragon, you'd be their lord. That leads into a scary theory about the Dragon King being reincarnated. Ellison even points out dragon attacks seem way too organized. Medidana agrees to investigate, but cheekily suggests Ellison should act as bait, which makes Lurin furious. Meanwhile, Elena's picking herbs when Serena jumps out and scares her. Serena decides to stick around, teasing Elena and even asking to learn magic transfer so she can help with healing. Elena just blushes and changes the subject. Out in the woods, Yardy's on the run, but a mysterious woman cuts him off, rips into him about all his failures, and then slices his neck like it's nothing. Back in the restaurant, Nellen brings a salt rock. Lurin, being Lurin, licks it and instantly regrets it. Ellison cracks up and remembers his military days when they used salt rocks during training. He also recalls the rough start he had in this world, getting drafted, missing home, being renamed Ellison, and choking down terrible mess hall food. Ellison thought the hardest part of camp wasn't the training, it was the food. Day after day, he had to choke down the same bland mush. Even the instructors admitted it was terrible, though they still ate without complaint. Meanwhile, Ellison kept thinking that would a pinch of salt really kill them. Then came a turning point. During magic lessons, the instructor Vane, fancy mustache, full of himself, started teaching offensive magic. He explained mana, showed off with a fireball, then told the recruits to try. Their results? Pathetic sparks. Vane yelled at them, totally disappointed. Out of nowhere, Ellison cast a fireball so massive, it blew up the dummy in half the cliff. Everyone stared at him like he was some monster. When asked, Ellison just shrugged. He said he could see mana and followed instructions. That freaked Vane out. Turns out only geniuses can sense mana like that. Later, Vane and the head instructor, Theron, agreed Ellison needed advanced training instead of frontline duty. Ellison, overhearing, felt relieved, but when Vane caught him eavesdropping, he got a scary warning not to get cocky and a punishment to fix the ruined field. While cleaning, Ellison stumbled upon glowing stones that turned out to be salt. Jackpot. He secretly used it in the food, and suddenly everyone was raving about the taste. For once, soldiers actually enjoyed their meal. That pushed Ellison to keep cooking better food, even if it meant late nights and hard work. But just when he was feeling good, Vane showed up behind him mid-meal and told him they needed to talk afterward, while leaving Ellison nervous about what was coming next. Ellison gets dragged into Commander Theron's office, and the air is so heavy you could cut it with a knife. Theron first praises Ellison's insane magical ability, saying it could be a huge boost on the battlefield. But then he brings up a sketchy rumor someone's been sneaking into the kitchen before dawn. He warns the punishment will be brutal if they're caught, but slyly mentions it's basically impossible to nab someone who leaves before 5 a.m. Ellison almost cracks from nerves, but Theron just hands him a scroll and congratulates him. Later, Ellison checks the scroll and bursts out laughing. It's full of info about mushrooms and spices. Turns out the commander knew about his cooking all along and was secretly encouraging it. With those tips, Ellison makes camp food legendary, so much so that even years after he leaves, his recipes are still around. Jump back to the present where Ellison cooks the old camp dish and his friends get all nostalgic. It doesn't taste quite the same, but the memories make it special. On the other side, Serena's being dramatic about being hungry when kids show up asking for Elena to heal their brother. She brushes them off at first, but reluctantly fixes the boy's scraped knee with magic. Later, the kids thank Elena, who's shocked to hear Serena actually helped. Serena denies it and complains instead. Elena explains she'd been busy treating a lord poisoned into a coma, but then a letter arrives from her homeland. Bad news, a dragon is threatening the elf forest, and the solution is for Elena to marry it. She's devastated, crying about wanting love, not duty. Serena shrugs it off, but promises to protect her. The elf leader Neria thinks Elena will return, though doubts linger. Finally, the crew agrees to head for the forest. Ellison joking about meeting the husband candidate, while somewhere far off, a dragon roars. The crew reaches the elf forest, but there's no shortcut. Teleportation doesn't work there. Ellison's checking the time. Serena wants to fly, but Elena explains the forest's magic block it. Before they can argue more, an elf named Lilinia pops up with a bow aimed at them, her squad ready to fire. She demands answers. Elena quickly steps in, saying they're with her. Lilinia isn't convinced and grills Ellison, noticing something odd in his eyes, like the elf's mind-reading ability. Ellison, being Ellison, tries plugging his restaurant, which annoys her even more. Luckily, a messenger shows up saying Elder Neria approved their entry, so the bows finally lower. Neria greets them warmly, thanks Elena for coming, but then drops the heavy subject that yes, it's about the dragon marriage thing. Serena laughs it off, even mocking the dragon, until Neria warns how dangerous Adamantium really is. When Serena and Lurin reveal their dragonkin and ready to deal with him, Neria is completely shocked. She explains Adamantium's backstory, that the elves used to pay him tribute, but now he demands a bribe. They tried offering others, but he rejected everyone, so Elena is the last option. Elena feels hopeless, but Lurin swears she won't let anything happen to her. Then Serena remembers something big. Adamantium studies brains and might know how to cure Lord Gates. Suddenly, the plan shifts from fighting him to capturing him. Before they can finish planning, an urgent report comes in. Adamantium is already on his way. Neria warns he's super cautious and will run if threatened, so like always, Elena has to play bait. The dragon storms in, roaring and ready to burn the forest until he sees Elena. Instantly, he's smitten. His anger vanishes, he blushes, and even demands she call him master and wear a maid outfit. Elena's dying inside, but she steels herself while the others wait for the perfect moment to act. Elena is standing in her new outfit while trying to play the part and offers to clean up Adamantium's messy lair. Big mistake. He flips out, yelling that he won't leave his lab alone. She apologizes, but he barks at her not to, then makes her repeat weird lines about being strict first, soft later. She is basically caught between fear and disgust. Meanwhile, her friends are spying from a corner while cracking up at the awkwardness. Elena spots them and blows up, which gets the dragon's attention. Adamantium confronts the trio, but when they reveal their dragonkin powers, he panics and tries to teleport away. Too bad it fails, and Serena and Lurin chain him to the ground. Instead of celebrating, Elena scolds them for not setting better traps. Lurin blames Ellison, who admits he just wanted to watch the dragon squirm. Serena calls them both idiots. Then things go from bad to worse. A creepy green and black sphere bursts in the sky, spewing poisonous mind control gas over the forest. The elves, even Neria, fall under its influence, ready to hurt themselves. Adamantium laughs like a maniac, saying it's his masterpiece spell, and demands Elena marry him if she wants the elves spared. Elena almost gives in, but just in time, Ellison steps up while glowing with golden mag. He breaks the spell and frees the elves. Neria collapses in gratitude, hugging Elena. Adamantium loses it while screaming in rage, but the group pins him down harder. Later, the elves throw a huge feast, music, dancing, and food everywhere. Elena leans on Neria for comfort, while Lurin and Serena tease Darn. A lighter moment comes when Lurin finds Elena's special sauce, making the bland veggies amazing, and Serena jokes about her keeping it secret. As everyone celebrates, Ellison quietly slips away, remembering his past as a 7th class Archmage with his old friend Benet arguing about meat versus greens like nothing had changed.